Hola, bienvenidos a Lightspeed Spanish. Well, we're here with Rick Moore. Hi, Rick. How are you doing?
Hello, hola a todos.
Eh, eh,
Thanks for having me.
You're more than welcome, Rick. And you, at the moment, are in which country?
I'm in Colombia. I'm in Bogota, actually.
Ah, okay, lovely. And what's it like there? Is it warm or cold?
It's temperate. It's pretty mild here, and for me, it's perfect. So it's around pretty much every day about 17 or 18 Celsius, going down to about 8 to 10 at night.
Okay,
So for me, it's quite comfortable, and there are no seasons here, being near the equator.
yeah.
So you can count on pretty much every day being the same, although occasionally there's rain, but the weather doesn't change much. But yeah, I'm quite comfortable with the climate.
Beautiful. So, for those who don't know who Rick is, you might be saying, well, who's Rick? Um, Rick is the creator, the owner of the app that we featured a couple of times on Lightspeed Spanish, which is Mi Boca. Yeah. So, Rick, just give us a bit of background. How did you get into creating this app? What's your background?
Really, it was just to meet my own needs initially. So I I learned French a long time ago and spent a little time living in France and became fluent to the point where I could use it in business. And then more recently, I decided I wanted to live and travel in Latin America. I've just been intrigued by Latin culture and wanted to finally become fluent in Spanish, having kind of dabbled in it from time to time. So I really committed about 6 years ago to learning Spanish and to spending most of the year here. So I'm a nomad. Bogota pretty much is my base, but I've lived in Chile, Argentina, Puerto Rico, and more recently Brazil.
Wow.
And so I'm actually learning Portuguese now, but learning Portuguese from Spanish. So it's reinforcing my Spanish.
Yeah.
But what I was doing was, like many people, taking notes from, like, watching videos, listening to podcasts, having conversations. And I had like three spiral notebooks, like Spanish volume one, two, and three. I was taking notes on my computer. I was saving, like, in different apps. You can sometimes, like dictionaries, you can save the words, but they were isolated there. And I realized that I had all these words in different places. I'd be on the street, I'd think of a word, I'd use a translator dictionary and then take a screenshot. And I encountered what's pretty common, I think, for language learners, the state of vocabulary chaos, where you have, and I had like hundreds of words, but in different places. And I was going through my paper notebooks, like to circle the ones that were important, cross out the ones that I knew. And I'm thinking there must be a better way that I could bring everything together. So that was the initial idea that came about probably about 5 or 6 months ago. I was just frustrated with losing track of the words I was trying to learn.
Hmm.
And so I thought, well, it'd be great if I had an app where I could just translate it, find the meaning, and then automatically save it, and then be able to take it into practice. So then I could use it automatically, either to review my list or to use it in flashcards or in sentence exercises. So I was using apps for those separately, but again, everything was in different places. And so I thought, wouldn't it be great if there was one app that could take me from, like, finding the word, getting the meaning, maybe finding related meanings, and then immediately going into practice, so I could then choose my preferred practice method, so it finally would sink in. I wouldn't lose track of it. So that was the initial idea I had. And then, initially it was just about getting words together and then having flashcards. And then you'll see that I've added a few other
Sure.
ways to practice languages that I think are even more effective when you use comprehensible input and reading stories and dialogues, for example.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And how have you got the skills to make an app?
It's funny. I'm not a developer. I've often worked in technology and was working for an AI company prior to this, so I became familiar with the power of AI. But I'm not a coder. What really changed things for me was the emergence of what's called vibe coding in the past 6 months or so. And I discovered an app that allowed me to pretty much guide AI with prompts to build this application. So I don't need to code. I can say, hey, I want you to do this. Now, you still have to have a fair amount of technical knowledge and
Sure.
understand how AI works, but I built this entirely by communicating with a platform just in natural language, and then having it build the app and edit the app for me.
Fantastic. Excellent. Well, well done. Well done. So talking about the app, why don't we have a look through and see you talk us through what's available? Yeah.
Sure, sure. I'll give you a quick tour here.
Yeah, that'd be lovely.
Yeah, let me know when you can see my screen.
It's just not yet. Now there it is. Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
great. So this is the starting point. So you'll find that you can just go to bivoca.app. You see the URL at the top if you haven't signed up, and it will ask you to provide your language, which is your native language or the language you're learning from, and then your learning language, I call it. So in this case, it's set to English as my language, and then Spanish, Latin America
Mhm.
as the learning language. And I'll walk through each of the different components here quickly, but the starting point for me was translator. I wanted to be able to easily find and translate a word, find related meanings. And so here you can speak the word. There's a little mic in the bottom right. You can type it as I'm doing now. You can paste the word, and you can do an entire sentence or paragraph. Most people use it just for a word or a phrase, but it's capable, just like other translators, of doing more than just a word or two.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, you click translate, and here the AI is going to find the initial definitions. I have it set just to find the primary definition, especially if you're walking down the street or having a conversation. You don't want to look at a long list. You want, okay, what's the most immediate one? And maybe this is fine. You can go ahead and save it. But in the case of light, I chose that thinking of light speed Spanish. And because light has lots of meanings and different meanings in Spanish. And so if you take the English word light and then look for additional meanings, you'll find that there's, in addition to luz, you'll find claro, ligero, right? So that it also means like a light color. It means light in terms of weight. And so I can select multiple different meanings of luz, or light, I should say, and then choose to save it.
Okay.
And then this will take you to my words, the next section. And it says at the bottom here, tap to just import it. So this is important, at least I think it's important for me, because there's some words that I know I want to remember and I'm going to use on a daily or weekly basis. Other ones, maybe once a month I use them. So in this case, maybe like the hero is important to me. So I'm going to click that to change it to the flame icon, which means it's very important. And maybe,
Okay.
like claro, light, maybe not as important. So I will just say, I'll change the little emoji to the sleepy face, which means it won't appear as often in practice. And so for me, I wanted something that did more than just judge the familiarity by rating like how well I know the word. I wanted also the AI to consider how important it is to me, so that in
Okay.
practice, I'm going to see the words that are both most important to me and least familiar first, and those that are the least important and the most familiar I will see less often. So that's kind of the
Mhm.
logic behind it. And so here you can also pull up a word map. So if lose will have lots of different meanings or related terms. And so when you click word map, the AI is going to find synonyms, antonyms, and related concepts. And this helps you expand your vocabulary, and I think in a very natural way, because for me anyway, it's easier to learn words that have some relationship, to go from one step to another than having just a random list of words. And so
Sure.
if I want to add, build upon luz, I can look at, iluminación, brillo, etc. And I'll just add one for now. But word maps can give you maybe dozens of additional words and concepts to add, and then you'll find that gets added here. With each one, because English is my language, I'll have, it's an adjective. It will have the definition in English, and then it gives me an example in Spanish and then in English. So your typical dictionary here, the dictionary is organized by your learning language. So it's always going to be with, in this case, Spanish at the top. You
Okay.
can also add word packs. So I've just done adding a word. Packs give you the chance to have categories. So each one of these will open up a list of dozens of words that you can then add. So that's, an easy way to add different groups of words. You can select the ones you want to add, and then those will then be added to your vocabulary here, just in the same
Mhm.
way I did with individual words. And then you can also import. In my case, as I mentioned, I was saving some words in a digital format, like in a Word doc or a spreadsheet. So here you can just simply create two columns, import it, and then have all those words here. So for those that might be using another app that have it electronically saved or using Anki,
Hmm.
they can just export those words and then import them here using the import feature.
Fantastic.
You can filter, and this allows you to filter by importance, familiarity, words that you've mastered. Oh, I should point out how that works too, by the way. So when you feel you know a word well, let's say I feel I know ligero pretty well, I can go ahead and just click the check mark here. And that means it will stay in my dictionary, so I won't lose it, but it will remove it from practice. So I won't be seeing that in the practice exercises once I feel I've mastered it.
Okay.
Anyway, and then export. So this makes it easy for you to take all the words out. So any and all words you want to export, you can simply click this and select them. Select all, select none, whatever, and then move on from there.
Okay.
So yeah, so that's quick tour of the of my words. I need to move the little video here so I can close that. And then flashcards is the first way you can practice it. So here you'll see a word that I've saved. It comes in sets of 10. You can switch the language. So if you want to see English first, you can do that.
Hmm.
I'm going to use Spanish for now. You just simply, you can also hear it pronounced, and then tap to reveal, you see the meaning, and then you click how well you know it. So this is typical of like flashcard exercises.
Yeah.
In this case, let's say I know it well. It will then take me on to the next one. Here's an expression that I've saved, for example. So that's how flashcards work. You complete a set, and then you can start a new set or review that set if you want to. The next one is sentence fill. And here you get a choice of 4 words.
Hmm.
And now these are more complicated. I have mine set to advanced. So the beginners will see probably a shorter sentence, simpler vocabulary. Mine set to advanced. In this case, I know the word that I want to use here is normativa. And so I select that and moves on to the next one.
Hmm.
If I don't want to do it, I can just simply skip this or flashcards as well and go on to the next one.
Okay.
And then also we'll show you the translation. So if you want a little hint, you can click to see it in English.
Very
Sorry,
good.
did you have a question there?
No, no, that's fine. I like the fact that you can get the English showing as well, just to help you as you go. Excellent. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll move on to stories, and this allows you to generate content. So you can have a story. You'll see that here. You can just click to generate a new story. And what it does is it highlights the words that you're learning.
Okay.
And then, so if this is the word I've saved here, boletín informativo, I can click that. If I want to be reminded of the definition, it brings it up for me.
Hmm.
If there's a word that I don't know, let's say I don't know the next word, semanal, I can click that, translate and save, and that takes me to translator, and it will automatically translate for me. And I'll just to move on quickly here, I'll just go ahead and save this.
Yeah.
And what I designed to do is save it quickly so you get right back to the story.
Back to the story.
So
Fantastic. Yeah.
you don't spend but a few seconds going away from it. The story is saved. All the other content's saved. So I can go back to where I was in flashcards or sentence fill, for example, and see where I left off there. So I can always just go
Okay.
back to any of these practices. And then if I want to see a dialogue, well, I just click dialogue, generate, and it will give me a conversation between 2 people. And in the same way, I will see my practice words highlighted. There's a new one I just added. And then I can see the translation. And again, I can click any word to have it translated if I don't know it.
Uh-huh. Very good.
Yeah. And then I more recently added echo. And
Right,
this
because
is where you can.
I haven't seen this bit. Yeah.
Okay, this is to help with pronunciation. And so you see the word, you see the definition. You click to hear a native voice, and the same type of voice you'll hear next to the definitions. And then what's great about it is you can record yourself and compare the two. So I will hear natives say pertenecer, I will say it, and I can go back and forth after I've recorded myself, and then I can make another recording if I want to, and then I can rate how well I feel I know the word in terms of pronunciation.
Yeah.
And so if I feel very confident, I'll say very. That means it won't come up again soon. If I say not very, that means I'm likely to see that word more frequently.
Okay.
So again, it gives you the chance to rate it, and then the the algorithm will kind of determine how often it will be presented to you.
Yeah.
So those are the key practice sections. I'm certainly, this is pretty new, so I just released this last month. So I welcome any and all feedback and suggestions. That's what I have so far. And then just to show you the last main component here in progress, you can see that I've added 5 words today, what I've done here in the past 7 days, past week. And you'll see how I practice it just going down to the left here. I need to probably change the importance ratings on some of these because the default is somewhat important. I probably should be rating more as very or not very important.
Uh-huh.
And then you'll see on the right the words I practiced, the words that I've marked as mastered, and then the familiarity rating. So how many I know well, somewhat, or don't know. Then those familiarity ratings are actually based on my performance in the exercises. So it's, I get a sense for, okay, look, I'm doing pretty well, but there's still, at least 9 words I don't know that I'll be seeing more frequently in my practice.
Okay, that's excellent. What I like saying is that you actually use this app yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. So like I said, the first thought was like, hey, I want to build something that will make it easier for me. And I thought, well, this is something I think a lot of other language learners will find useful. So I actually have 2 versions. I have this version I'm using now for Spanish, where I'm at the advanced level, and I'm at the intermediate level in Portuguese. And what I do for Portuguese is I have the setting to be learning from Spanish. As I mentioned earlier, it reinforces my
Yeah.
Spanish because I'll do that. And you can change the settings, by the way. So if you want to see the app in Spanish, you can go here, and I can also just change it so that everything appears in Spanish, which I encourage people to do. You probably do as
Yeah.
well when you're using apps, the more Spanish you see. So here I can see everything in Spanish as well. And this is kind of how I have my Portuguese set up. So I have a version I use for that where I see everything in Spanish, that I'm translating from Spanish to Portuguese.
Excellent. Excellent. Yeah, I like it. I like the echo thing, which I haven't seen. I remember years ago, and we are talking 20 years ago, maybe 18 years ago, I bought some this CD that you put in your PC, and it was to test your spoken Spanish against a native. And
Mhm.
it was terrible. It was terrible. It would never score me any higher than, say, rubbish. And I remember when my wife, who's Spanish, came over to the UK, and I said, "You do this," and she was speaking into it, and it was saying non-native, saying that she was a non-native. So it's nice the fact that what you've got here is you listen to your own pronunciation, make a comparison yourself, and that's a great loop to get into, because that's what we've got to do. We've got to become our own critic, and listen to our own selves.
That's absolutely true. And what I've learned, I'm sure you know this, is that when you say a word, because you're the one speaking it, you're hearing it in your head in a different way
Very
than
much.
other people hear it. That's why people are often surprised when they hear their voice recorded, because it sounds different than they are used to hearing it
Yeah,
when they're saying it from just hearing it in their own head, I guess.
sure. Yeah.
And so I know there are times I was frustrated, but I thought I was saying the word right, and people were not understanding me. And so I built this because I want to be able to hear how I actually sound to other people, which is different, of course, than in my own head. And so this helps me a lot, that going back and forth, and especially Portuguese, which is even trickier than Spanish in terms of pronunciation. A
Yeah.
lot of nasal sounds that just aren't very natural to me. And so I find that helps a lot to hear my actual voice played back to me, and then hear the native again back and forth.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, we've got Rick, we've got this app, which I know there's some of it is free. Yes, so you can go in and start using it without paying anything. What's if people want to get the whole lot, what do they have to do?
Yeah, so I have it set up so that when you sign up, you're going to get 10 days of the full access, what I call the plus access. So everyone has access to the translator, to the My Words, to the flashcards. Anyone can import, export. So all of that, basically these first 3 here, all that functionality everyone gets.
Yeah.
You just need to subscribe to the plus plan to get the others, the sentence fill, the stories, and the new echo feature. I have that all here in plans. So if I go here to look at plans or planes, you'll see everything that you get in free. This will always be free forever. When you sign up, you don't have to provide any kind of credit card information. But after that, you'll have access to everything. The idea is I hope people find the other exercises useful. They may want to subscribe. And if so, then after that time, anytime you want to, you can subscribe. And in US dollars, it's $2.99 per month. And I have mine set here for the annual plan, so it's wiped out. But the annual plan is $29 US for the year. So it shows my current plan here. But yeah, it's hopefully pretty straightforward. Anyone can upgrade anytime, cancel anytime.
Okay, and very reasonable as well. It's not a massive cost, and if they buy it all across the year, then it's even cheaper. So excellent, yeah. Mm. I like it a lot. I really like the work that you've done. And I know we've had a few conversations about you. I know you're constantly kind of tweaking it and getting it to be what you want it to be, which is great.
Well, thanks. So I really appreciate that. It is still a work in progress because I come across things all the time that I think could be better. So
Sure.
it will keep getting better. I tend to be like the power user, especially using it across two languages. So I'm doing what I can to make it better all the time. But I really appreciate any feedback from you, from your students and followers. So anything you think could be improved or would like to see added, I'm all ears.
Absolutely. And if you wanted to send if you looked at it, if you wanted to send me some feedback, I can pass it straight over to Rick. Or any suggestions or anything that you might want to see. Not that he would, there you can get 1,000 suggestions, but there might be some of them that are really powerful and worthwhile looking at. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks. I've already received a few that I've implemented. So I really appreciate those that have responded and certainly welcome many more.
Excellent. So, well, thank you for showing us the app, Rick. And now I wanted to finish by having a little conversation in Spanish, if you're okay doing that.
Okay, sure.
Okay, right. So, vamos a empezar. ¿Cuántos años llevas aprendiendo español ahora?
6 años.
6 años,
Yeah.
sí.
Mhm.
¿Y cuánto tiempo llevas viviendo en Hispanoamérica? ¿Cuántos años?
5 años, de hecho. Sí,
5 años. Entonces,
5 años llevo.
¿empezaste cuando estabas en los Estados Unidos? ¿Empezaste con tu español?
Sí, empecé a estudiar por aplicaciones, por intercambios de lengua con tutores, más o menos intensivamente, como unas horas cada día, por un año antes de empezar mi vida como nómada en América Latina.
¿Y por qué los países de habla hispana? ¿Por qué te interesa tanto América Latina?
No sé por qué, pero la cultura me atrae. Siempre he estado muy interesado en visitar y conocer países de América Latina, tal vez por amigos en los Estados Unidos, muchos, especialmente donde, ah, donde pasé más de casi 20 años en San Diego, en California. Hay muchos hispanohablantes y
Claro.
tal vez por eso, por la proximidad de México, muchos hispanohablantes en San Diego. Me interesaba en conocer más, en visitar este parte del mundo.
Sí, qué bien, qué bien. Y vale, has visto muchos lugares, muchos países. En tu opinión, hasta la fecha, ¿cuál ha sido el lugar más hermoso que has visto, el lugar más bonito?
En América Latina, diría el eje cafetero, acá en Colombia.
Ah,
Es
sí.
la región entre Bogotá y Medellín, más o menos en el centro del país. Muchas montañas, muy verde, muchas plantas para mí, plantas exóticas.
Ujú.
Um, sí, me encanta la naturaleza en esta parte de Colombia.
Qué bien. ¿Y tu comida favorita de esa región?
Es algo sencillo, de hecho, es el caldo de costilla, costilla de res, que es muy
Ah,
popular para el desayuno acá en Colombia.
wow.
Normalmente uno come caldo de costilla con huevos, jugo, café, té, etcétera.
¿Y es un caldo como líquido o tiene verduras? ¿Qué lleva?
No, solo, solo costilla y como especias, un poco de cebolla, ajo y cilantro
Ah,
y
qué
sal,
bien.
ya, ya.
Sí. Entonces desayunas fuertemente, ¿eh?
Sí, sí.
Qué bien. Well done, and well done, eh? Well done with your Spanish. You speak really nicely. Well done.
Well, thank you. Thank you. As you know, I'm still making mistakes, still learning, but I really enjoy it.
Who isn't? We all are. We all are, Rick. Okay, well, Rick, well, thank you very much for taking the time to talk to us and to share your app with us. And thank you for making it as well, because we need as many resources as we can when we're learning.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate it. Yeah, thanks so much for making the time. Thanks to your audience. And yeah, I certainly hope everyone finds it helpful.
Absolutely. And obviously the link to the app is just down in the video information, okay? All right, Rick, pues muchas gracias y nos vemos la próxima vez, ¿no? Si Dios quiere.
Gracias.
Hasta
Igual.
luego.
Chao.